We're back in Statesboro for some Week 21 USL League One action between Tormenta and Fort Lauderdale CF, presented by Durance Lane. Durance Lane is proud to be the official car dealership of Tormenta FC. Durance Lane is located on US 280 in Claxton. Welcome everyone, one and all, to this broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster, excited to go through the broadcast with you today. It's an exciting matchup in a log jam of standings. Let's take a look at those right now. Coming into Week 21, it was a 7-way tie at 24 points. Of course, Richmond currently in a game which gives them the point above, and Toronto got the draw yesterday. But it's anyone's game. Fort Lauderdale just below that log jam, but could jump right above it, given a win today. Now let's take a look at the last time these two teams met. It's been nearly an eon since they played. It was on April 17th, the last time these two teams played each other. In the 23rd minute, though, Sean Hundal was the difference in that game, assisted by Drew Harden. A 1-0 victory. A lot has changed since then, but those are two players that are still involved in the team today, so not everything is different from then. As we take a look at our Davis marketing player to watch, Pablo Jara. The backline has been an issue for Tormenta recently, not through flaws of their own, but just through players missing, which means Pablo Jara has to step up and make some big saves here today. No one from their initial starting three are going to be on the back line here today for Tormenta. So that just means the man in between the sticks will have to make some big plays, make some saves. No matter how well that defense works, they're going to have to make some stops. And that's because you've got some great players on the attack on the other side, including Mitchell Curry for Fort Lauderdale. The guy can finish, and I mean, he's got help from a bunch of teammates. They all work really well together, and Curry's just been one of the highlights of the season for Fort Lauderdale when it comes to the young talent they've been procuring. So Tormenta's going to have to keep their eyes on it today, and Fort Lauderdale's looking to utilize it. Mitchell Curry's a guy who he can score, as you can see here, 6 goals on the season. Well, Fort Lauderdale's looking to bounce back from a thrashing at home. Meanwhile, Tormenta looking to string some wins together in the final stretch of the season. You won't want to miss this matchup. Kickoff coming up next on ESPN+.
Optum Health System's commitment to you has not changed. Unmatched safety and compassionate care. Others may talk about the new normal, but at Optum Health System, we've always provided high-quality, personalized care safely. If you have recently delayed your care, we want to reassure you we are prepared to care for you. Our absolute commitment to safe, high-quality, personalized care is stronger than ever. We welcome you back to Optum Health System.
Why contact a marketing agency?
Is it to see this guy scribble on a whiteboard, or to listen to the ins and outs of marketing?
Or is it to partner with a group of creatives who will connect you to them and grow your brand?
Here, we join with you to push your business to new heights.
It's not about the us, but about the us, and how we can get your brand out there and connect and become their favorite.
We are the planners, doers, designers, and engagers who cut the crap and just make it happen.
We are Davis Creative Group.
At my age, where I'm at now, my children at their age, what I love about fishing now is the time that I can spend with my children. It's just great to know that when I get into a Silverado, that I don't have to worry about, am I going to make it? Is it going to pull? There's no doubt, there's no question in my mind. It's going to do everything I need to do. To go spend the quality time that I want to, enjoy that experience, because once it's gone, it's gone. What I love now is being able to watch my children enjoy something that I've loved doing all my life. And we can just enjoy each other. Kyle Durance Chevrolet provides us these experiences that we get to go on as a family.
We're back in Statesboro, brought to you by Davis Marketing. It's Tormenta and Fort Lauderdale as we get set for everything to get going here. Let's take a look at the home sides lineup here, brought to you by Durance Lane. With Tormenta, it's 2 new players getting their first ever starts. Luis Rodriguez right in the center of the defense. Meanwhile, Nicky Jackson has made 3 appearances this season on loan from San Diego Loyal, but will get his first start of the year up at the top. They'll be looking to give him some quality minutes and maybe a couple goals in this game's affair.
Very much improved and made some tactical switches which were very, very beneficial to the team. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to playing Tormenta again, but it's a totally different team than what we played earlier in the year. So I think it's very important that we're organised and know exactly what we're trying to do with our game plan and match up and against a talented and well-coached Tormenta team.
Those are the words of Fort Lauderdale head coach Darren Powell. I already highlighted Mitchell Curry, but Edison Azcona and Sean Hundal, other strikers that are up top of that situation. So just players you got to keep your eye out on for this entirety of this 90 minutes. Fort Lauderdale donning the all-white. Meanwhile, Tormenta in their typical home kits. 90 minutes. These two teams match up, Fort Lauderdale and Tormenta. It's been a long time since they've played, but it's take two of a 4-game series. They'll get real familiar with each other as the ending of the season winds around here in League One soccer. So although maybe it's been quite a while since they've played each other, they'll get to know each other very well in these next few weeks. Here's a shot from Nicky Jackson to start things off. Just mentioned getting his first start of the season. 63 minutes for Nicky Jackson so far in Tormenta colors, coming from San Diego Loyal. Hasn't really been able to create too many chances in those first 3 games, but with some starting minutes, will more than likely double his total. Maybe that can mean getting him more properly integrated into the attack, not having to get thrown into a game that's already made most of its way. There's Fort Lauderdale moving forward. Vicious on the attack. This one slips through, and then the offside flag will go up on Fort Lauderdale's player to watch, Mitchell Curry. It'll be the first of many chances, I would presume, for him here today. Really just has developed into a great striker, but it's not just him. It's the litany of offensive pieces that Fort Lauderdale have at their disposal just throughout the season. Tons of great goal scorers. Curry just being one of them. And you've got a back line that, if everyone was healthy and ready to go, it wouldn't be these 3 guys in the back, not to knock those players, but you've got Nick O'Callahan, Lars Eckenrode, as well as Josh Phelps, who are all incredibly talented players who can't see today's matchup. Phelps and Eckenrode out with injuries. Meanwhile, Nick O'Callahan just recovered from an injury, but is now serving a yellow card suspension. So you hate to get hit with the injury bug, but especially if it's concentrated in one position, that can really do some damage to the team. So we'll see how they're able to hold up to it today. And on top of that, Tormenta's also missing Abuchi Obinwa, another member that helps along with the defense, one of their holding midfielders. So just a lot of guys missing. And when I asked head coach Ian Cameron of Tormenta, how do you fill in those gaps and who's responsible for, you know, picking up the responsibilities of those players, he basically said that, look, I mean, our best 3 leaders in Josh, Lars, and Abuchi are all not playing, so everyone needs to chip in. He said Raheem Summersall can't fill into Abuchi's shoes. He has to focus on being the best version of himself. And he also said he'll be a bit louder on the sidelines down the stretch to help the guys out. So maybe a more vocal Ian Cameron as things go along. This is a Tormenta team that has overcome some adversity this season and has done well. And Fort Lauderdale has also seen their fair share of tough times, including just recently a 4-0 loss last weekend at home to FC Tucson. So these aren't 2 teams that have just had the going easy this season, but to be quite honest, I think just about every team in League One this year has faced some pretty significant bumps in the road. even those teams up top in Omaha and Chattanooga. This one's flicked on by Micheletto, looking for Jackson. Finds its way to his feet. He's actually initially looking for Rodney Michael. There's Sergi Noose, holding up the left back position for Tormenta. Last weekend it was Nick O'Callahan. Noose was able to slip into the middle, but he's back at that left spot, given the fact that O'Callahan has to serve a suspension. Here's the whistle of Alyssa Nichols, our head official here today. Noose sends this one forward. That was not the worst ball. Maybe caught some Fort Lauderdale players off guard. Some whistles early in this affair. We're going to get our first yellow card of the day very early in the match. Ricardo Gomez getting his 5th yellow of the season. Yellow card's been an issue for Tormenta this year. They've accrued quite a few of them. Now Gomez will have to go at the most 85 minutes plus stoppage time unless he gets subbed out. Having to be careful and avoid a second. Typically a guy who gets subbed out. It's an exhausting position. That holding midfielder role that he's currently holding up. Looking at the Fort Lauderdale side of things, head coach Darren Powell said that he wanted to compare their performances versus Greenville and their last match against Tucson. So those are their last 2 games. He said they brought a very different energy, referring to Tucson, and he said hats off to them. They came in and played with a fire. Here's Nicky Jackson. He'll lay it off to his left for Muller. Stefan Muller. He'll chip it inside, but can't get over the large frame of Ame Mabika. Rodney Michael pressing forward, though. He's inside the 18. This one will get poked away. Last moment by Christian Liu Young, who's back in the lineup for Fort Lauderdale after suffering an injury. Take a look at this one again. This is the yellow card from earlier. Ricardo Gomez just a little reckless of a challenge and gets put in the books for it. Marco Micheletto sees some goals from his season in halftime. He'll launch this one into the 18 and it's knotted away. Tormenta will look to build here. When I was talking about Fort Lauderdale, their past 2 games, a win versus Greenville, and this one's going to draw the offside flag. Luca Meyer-Feltian all by himself there. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com.
Yeah, I got one in my car you can rent.
Well, let's take a look at our injury report here, brought to you by Optum Orthopedics and Optum Health System, which are the official health providers of Tormenta. You see there a couple of names from the injury report for Tormenta. None for Fort Lauderdale here, but that list actually can't fit all the players that are hurt right now for Tormenta. It's just a rough going for them here late in the season. It's when you want to be healthy, but unfortunately, the fact of the matter is they've played a ton of games. The long ball looking for Edison Azcona, 17 years old. Maybe not as tall as Curry or Hundel. Now let's take a look at our blueprint of the game brought to you by Hampton Inn. Starting with Fort Lauderdale, Darren Powell was talking about just bringing in energy and bringing the right kind of energy on the road. They struggle to really put many great performances when they're away from South Florida. Meanwhile, for Tormenta, it's been a long time since they played Fort Lauderdale, but it's time to level the series. Ian Cameron's been all about this season winning or drawing every series with every team, and so this is their chance to draw at level before really the series as it stands right now begins today, given that so much has changed since that first game and they still got 2 more games after this. A lot of script left to be written between these two sides. And they need to give it a clean slate. They're at home. Luke Meyer-Feltien's able to win a corner kick, deflecting the ball off of Noah Allen. Tormenta just needs to reset the standard and just play their game. Stefan Muller will be the one to bring the ball over to the corner. Not the most familiar face behind the corner for Tormenta, as far as I can recall. This one drawn up Ricardo Gomez. The dummy gets all the way through to Nicky Jackson and it hits a brick wall, but clever little interaction there. Maybe one from the drawing board. It won't result in anything true dangerous that to challenge Drake Callender, but love to see some inventive stuff that brought from the training ground. Pretty much been Tormenta possession the entirety of the match thus far. At least just holding it in the attacking half. Talking about Fort Lauderdale's match against Tucson, he said that we had a couple missteps and then got punished on the recovery. There are mistakes that you could maybe track back and recover from in a U19 game, but at this level you just can't. He also noted that there was an exceptional pass on that first Tucson goal, and maybe that kind of set the standard for the rest of the match. Tucson were, they came to play. Maybe that's something Fort Lauderdale can learn from in that one and bring it to this match here today. Here's Stefan Muller. He'll slip it through for Jackson. Definitely a little more involved already today. Check that. That was Raheem Somersault. Gomez tries to slip that through to Luca Meyer-Feltien. Here's Rodney Michael. Look to poke it to Jackson. They may have clipped off a boot of Mabika, one of the other defenders. Tormenta with the sustained aggressive possessions early. Meanwhile, Fort Lauderdale have looked their best, lobbing the ball on the counter. Shouldn't surprise anyone who's watched either of these teams, though, this season. That one a little bit too far for Curry. Ara well off his line, though. Have to get it out. Last week it was a 1-1 draw for Tormenta against New England Revolution 2, and Ian Cameron said that he thought they performed well and created enough chances to score multiple goals, and said they were disappointed to not have scored more than just one, but the fact of the matter is they knew that New England had the firepower and they did their part in causing problems, but in an overall assessment of the game, Tormenta started well, and then he was proud of their response when they went down a goal. Here's Mitchell Curry, squares into the center, and Hara is on top of it. Looking for Sean Hundel there, who seems to be playing at the number 9 spot. There's a dangerous chemistry with those strikers up top for Fort Lauderdale. Some talented guys there. Mitchell Curry, usually on the goal-scoring end of things, but does have an assist to his name and has made some key passes that won't go down as assists, but they all are on the same wavelength. And here they come again. Zazkona, only 5'6", so a shorter guy. Poplawski, they'll let it go, but not on target. Nothing there for Pablo Jara to handle. We'll take a look at the cross from Mitchell Curry. Was able to find some space in the right wing, and luckily Pablo Jara, though, didn't even let that get to Sean Hundal. That's the veteran keeper right there, 27 years old. Knows danger when he sees it. Ian Cameron said they certainly deserved a point last week against New England, if not more than a point. Both teams poking and prodding in their own ways. And straight counter. The other keeper between the sticks. To be fair, 23 years old and has had his fair share of appearances this season, so seasoned in his own regard. Here's Allen sending this one forward. Finds Azcona one-on-one with Thorne. Luca Meyer-Feltien's making his way over, though. Here's Acosta. Christian Liu Young on the ball now. Fort Lauderdale have got some numbers forward now. Liu Young's ball comes in, deflected away. Could still be collected by Azcona. Well, that's a good little step from him. Here's Azcona's ball. Floats a little bit, just a little too high. That'll be dealt with by Marco Micheletto and Stefan Moeller. Nicky Jackson getting his touches on the ball, but still looking to really find some quality chances here. Now Fort Lauderdale moving forward once again. That's a good little ball from Acosta. Neville over to the right to Curry. Curry's ball in the center just skates wide. No one's there for it. Jara couldn't get his hands on it. Just a little too far ahead of the Fort Lauderdale striking unit. And so nothing will come of it in the end. Let's take another look at that one. Curry just rolled a little bit too wide, but the thought was there, and it was a good little build-up from Fort Lauderdale. So some promise from both sides of really threatening the keeper. We'll see which one can find the real first chance of this game. And talking about Fort Lauderdale, after you get a drubbing like you did last weekend, you have to ask the coach, what do you work on? What do you focus on? And Darren Powell just said, we need to work on consistency. It's about actions and attitude. And these last two games have been great for teaching lessons. And I think that just given the polar opposite nature of those games, a 2-0 win at home versus Greenville, the reigning champions, and then a 4-0 loss at home versus Tucson, I think it's a great way to observe what was different in those games. And his impression was that it was about energy and attitude. And he wants to see if they can bring that on the road as well. Definitely haven't been bystanders in this game for the first 19 minutes. Facing some pressure from Micheletto, but Modesto Mendez is cool under the pressure. Curry can't square it into the middle there. I mentioned resetting the series being one of the keys to this game for Tormenta. Here's Fort Lauderdale moving forward. Lots of space for Young here. Christian Lou Young takes a couple steps, and he can't get the ball past Sergi Noose. But he will earn himself the corner kick. Or no, they're not. They're going to say it's a goal kick. Maybe took a second deflection off of his foot after the fact. I saw for a moment a band really starting to accumulate itself here at Statesboro. Definitely heard them last week, and maybe looking to continue to show up here at Eric Russell Park. Could be students from Georgia Southern University making their way back to campus. This is Luis Rodriguez holding up the center of the lineup. Only one appearance this season coming into today's game, 23 minutes. So that's quite the difference between just one appearance and being the starter on the center of the back line. We'll see how he performs here today. There's the band now. Tormenta's doing good holding the ball so far. Ian Cameron said that they can't get frustrated by Fort Lauderdale spells of possession. Here's Muller's ball swinging in into the hands of Drake Callender. Had to go up for that one. Rodney Michael was dashing in. But not too high for his claws to get upon him, to get a hand on. But Ian Cameron said that they can't get frustrated by Fort Lauderdale's periods of possession. And because they make the field so big, they need to turn that into a weapon and win the ball back and break on them with speed and numbers. So trying to use what they like to do against them. Seemed excited about the prospect of turning what they do on their head. Any tactician would like. Ian Cameron definitely a tactical coach. That's a seeking ball forward, but a little bit too much heat on it, looking for Hundel. And a lot of pace behind that one. On the flip side, talking to Darren Powell about his opponents here today. As they move forward now, Luca Meyer-Feltien's ball goes straight into the gut of Noah Allen. Darren Powell said that Tormenta's really turned around from early season form. They're much fitter, and, well, they changed their shape, which seems like old news to us to talk about now, since that happened so long ago, but that was not the case when they last played in April. A long time has passed since then. A lot has happened. Here's Gomez. He decides to fire the shot himself, and no threat there. Darren Powell said that they bring new challenges from last time since they've changed their shape, and he said, can we get the ball, can we get on the ball when we're away from home? Seemed to be another focus that they had. want to let Tormenta sit on the ball the entire game. Done a fair share of that so far in the first 25 minutes, but Fort Lauderdale have had some spells as well. It's Moeller on Young, and he'll opt to give it back to Gomez. Not going to make a pass that they don't believe in right now, Tormenta. They're comfortable just holding it. But here's Summersaw making forward. He flicks to the middle for Micheletto. A little too far ahead of him. And it's back to the back line. Still Tormenta possession. Just going to hold on to this ball. This one shipped over to Moeller. Maybe didn't give the bounce he was anticipating, though. Hundel has two players wide, and he's going to send it to him, but instead finds Curtis Thorne, who would have been in a precarious situation had it connected. I remember going into last week thinking so many games with a chance for teams to make that jump into the top half of the table. We just got a bunch of draws, and that seems to be the way things are starting here in week 21. Micheletto's going to fire a shot, though, right into the breadbasket of Drake Callender. North Carolina FC were able to get the win on Wednesday versus Ford Madison. Madison being one of those teams in that giant draw in the middle of the table. 1-0 win for them, and then for North Carolina, that is. And then yesterday, a 0-0 draw between Chattanooga and Toronto, and final whistle just blew on our early fixture. As this one gets to Curry, no flag goes up. This is an open opportunity for Fort Lauderdale, and it gets put away. Is the flag going to go up? It doesn't look like it is. Fort Lauderdale have taken the lead. What a strange goal. All the Tormenta players gave up on the play, thinking that the offside flag was bound to come up. But instead, the Herons have taken the lead. Let's take a look at that one again. An inventive chip to Curry, and he squares it. And I don't think Hundal will ever score an easier goal in his life. No one around for Akers. Curry with the assist. Gives Hundal the team lead in goals with 7, which was previously in a tie between him and Curry. Body language just strange from Tormenta there. Bit too far and got punished. And there he is, Sean Hundal, 22-year-old forward from Brampton, Ontario. If you've been following League One since its beginning, you might think that name's a little bit familiar. He played with Toronto 2 back in 2019. We're waiting for everything to get squared away by Alyssa Nichols, our head official, and the whistle has been blown. And that is what Fort Lauderdale can do. They can punish you on the counterattack. All it takes is a good ball, and now they've punished this less experienced Tormenta back line. Here they come again. This one slipped through to Curry. Curry's got acres of space, and he takes the shot himself, and it comes off the foot of Hara. Maybe could have scooped that one into his arms, but instead it goes off his foot, and it'll be a Fort Lauderdale corner. Curry finding tons of room on the right side. And Hara is able to make the stop this time, but definitely on the front foot Fort Lauderdale now. Noah Allen will be on this corner kick. His ball swings in. The head just skids off the head of Modesto Mendez. Looked like he had the perfect opportunity to square that one up, but it just fell a little bit awkwardly on his head. 30 minutes in. We're gonna get a yellow card issued here. It's been given to the head honcho for Tormenta, Ian Cameron. You see him there, 7-10-3 this season with Tormenta, but 10 wins total if you count when he came in last season. He's gonna talk to our fourth official and get things squared away. But in the books, Coach Cameron. Here's Curry. Over to Lou Young, and he'll give it back. Suddenly Fort Lauderdale now the team that just are holding the possession here. See if Tormenta can find a response, or Fort Lauderdale are gonna stamp their boot on this game. It's not the way they wanted things to get going here. Ian Cameron and Tormenta, he said that when thinking about that game in April, he said we were so different then and so were they. We're different structurally and their personnel has shifted a fair bit, and he said they've tasted success at our home tiers in a row now, so they got to find a way to overcome that and get a win, and now they have to overcome a deficit in today's game. Here come Fort Lauderdale moving forward. Edison Azcona on the ball. Azcona's ball swings in. Goes behind his men running forward. Nice little back heel from Lou Young. Here's a ball going in, and George Acosta trying to find his man Hundal for a second goal, but couldn't connect here. 7 assists on the year for Acosta. Was been on top of the assists leaderboard all season. Mitchell Curry will give it to the middle. Poplawski. When we talk about a tight table, 3 points at any given time is so critical for all of these teams. I don't know if I can hesitate to say that any team is out of the race, especially North Carolina getting their win back on Wednesday and then getting a draw against Richmond. Gives them 16 points. They're not too far behind. But coming into this week, already mentioned 7 teams were at 24 points. And I asked both coaches about this, and starting with Darren Powell, he said that it's massive for the league and the fans, and he said personally we'd love to get over that clump. It's much more nerve-wracking looking up at it than to be looking down. At 22 points coming into this game, but currently sitting on 25 if they can wait this one out. And he said, I think it's going to come down to the final week, but if you make the playoffs, you could win the whole dang thing. He talked about the quality of the league and that really this isn't a race between Chattanooga and Omaha. Anybody who can make the playoffs has a chance to go the whole way. Everyone's proven that they can beat each other. Maybe even suggesting that getting that bye may not be the best thing as we take a look at some of these band members here in Statesboro here today. Love to hear some instruments at any sporting event. Stefan Muller, his ball comes swinging in looking for Jackson. And here come Fort Lauderdale on the transition. As Kona, he could fire this himself. Instead, he gets to the middle for the shot, and it slips in. George Acosta makes it 2 for Fort Lauderdale. And the visitors are on a roll. Clinical passing from the visitors is proving to be the downfall of this backline for Tormenta. And we'll take a look at this replay here again. As Kona tempted to shoot, makes the wise decision and gives it to Acosta. His second goal of the season. Mentioned earlier, 7 assists, so maybe happy to be on the final touch of a goal. Celebrating here, 2-0. And Fort Lauderdale looking great here in Statesboro. George Acosta, 21 years old. Proud from Miami, so didn't have to leave very far from home to play for Fort Lauderdale. Did play at Austin Bold last, though, so had to make his long way around to go just an hour or so up north. But 36 minutes in. The first goal may have caught Tormenta off guard, and maybe you could argue it's questionable, but that one, there was no doubt about it. Just clinical work from a clinical group that is the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. This one swings in. Rodney Michael tried to connect with it. A second ball could go in, but Lukemeyer Felitian's pass may have been a shot. Marco Micheletto, though, clapping to encourage his guys. There's still a lot of time left, and coming up at halftime, you'll see this isn't the first time Tormenta's been in this situation and made something of it. Down 2-0. So they can make it happen, and this game is not over. I was talking about the tight league table before Fort Lauderdale decided that they wanted to pad their lead. Looking at Ian Cameron, he said that it's crazy to look at the table as things stand. He said it's quite improbable, but here we are. He said, and as a staff and as a team, we brought awareness to the fact when games played levels out, we anticipated dropping a lot of spots, and we're ready for that, but realistically, they're still going to be within the playoffs by the time everyone catches up. They've been waiting for that moment where they would slide down the table, and it just really hasn't happened. And he said that we still have a chance to have our destiny in our own hands. He said we need 2 wins in a row soon, and we hope to get the first today. There's a tall order in that regard. At this point, Fort Lauderdale just chipping those passes forward, and can you blame them? That's a mistake from the back line. Modesto Mendez not able to get his foot cleanly on it, and then had to get tracked down by Christian Liu Young. August is USL Supporters Month, and we want to hear from you. Visit uslleague1.com/supporters-month for more information on how you can get involved and have a chance to be featured as the supporter of the week. That's some great highlights this season. And some great supporters across League One. And it's always great to see people who are passionate about their clubs in League One and also great members of their community. A little bit of a clunky collision there between Muller and Liu Young. not the first start that Luis Rodriguez was looking for. It's a tall order, though, having to go up against this Fort Lauderdale striking unit, one of the best in League One.
Is this like a test?
Here's Micheletto, though. They've got talented strikers themselves, Tormenta. Play on, says the ref. Muller's ball swings in, but there's nobody there for it. Indignant from the visitors, but in the end, there's no harm done to them. And now they have the chance to counter. Here's Azcona.
You guys need to stop.
Moving forward himself. He'll fire the shot, and it just bounces wide. Maybe a little closer than one would have initially thought, and it will be a corner kick. Took a little deflection there, and that's what made it more scary than when it first made contact with his boot.
Is he on you yet? Where is he?
Here is Noah Allen. Once again to take this one. Just 17 years old, but has played the most minutes of any Fort Lauderdale player this season. This ball comes in, headed into the middle. Sergi News handles it, though. That one falls right back to Azcona. He chips the ball in. That one gets skied straight up. Can't quite effectively clear this one out, Tormenta, until just that moment. That's concerning, though, from the set-piece department, and maybe another promising point for Fort Lauderdale moving forward.
Stop. Dude, Kevin.
Here's Acosta. Hopeful pass to Hundal. Can he keep it in? He is successful in doing so. Sacrifices his body in the process. And there's no one around it, so he can go back and get it. Fort Lauderdale maybe thinking another one while they're on the right foot. They know this game's not over. Tried to sneak that one to Neville, making a little run. That's a careless pass. Acosta with the shot, and it bounces through the hands of Hara, and that's another goal right there. Oh my goodness, a keeper error from Pablo Hara, and that's a brace for George Acosta. It is a dream start in the first half for Fort Lauderdale. 3 goals to their name. And George Acosta only had 1 goal coming into this game this season, has now got a brace. Oh my word. That is not a mishap you expect from Pablo Hara. Currently second in the league with 52 saves coming into the day, but Acosta does his part. Sometimes you just take chances. Fort Lauderdale feeling it here. Well, if you needed a response after getting handily put away by FC Tucson last weekend, I think you found it here. They hadn't been really taking a beating like that all season for Lauderdale, and if this is the kind of response you get out of it, I imagine you got to be happy if you're Darren Powell. Jake Callender able to fall on that ball and keep things safe as the clock winds down. 2 of the East's best clash to kick off a fall to remember when the USL on ESPN continues. Perennial contenders Louisville City FC travel to Dillon Stadium to meet Hartford Athletic in a potential playoff preview, September 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. As we approach that halftime whistle, we're going to get 2 minutes of stoppage at that. Some good halftime coverage coming up for you. You'll want to stick around. We'll talk about some League One milestones. Here's Fort Lauderdale again. Edison Azcona slips it forward for Acosta. And it just goes too far ahead of him. And stoppage time brought to you by Via Media. They may have to be on hat-trick watch for the second half. Speaking of hat-tricks, Giovanni Calixtro had one just last weekend against Fort Lauderdale. So we want to talk about just a way to really just even things out. It'll be a hat-trick here today for Acosta. Granted, the home side will have different ideas in mind. Gomez's ball gets headed out before it's poked up into the air by Summersall. Oh, here's an opportunity for Tormenta. Rodney Michael on the ball. Michael squares it in the middle, cleared away. Well done by Mendez. That could have been a momentum shifter going into halftime, but instead Fort Lauderdale holds steady. Now here's Curry.
Yeah, I know. It's not been around. I don't think it was around when you were a kid.
And we've reached 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And Fort Lauderdale will just draw that first half whistle. They don't need anything else. 3 goals to their name in the first 45. A fantastic start for the visitors going into half. And it's on the back of a brace from George Acosta. And Sean Hundal was the one to get things going, and they jumped the back line. Just a wonderful way for things to start for Fort Lauderdale. And just what the doctor ordered. You're looking to bounce back from a bad loss. Well, with that, we're going to go to our halftime break. We got some great content coming for you up next. A 3-0 lead for Fort Lauderdale after 45. We'll see you after this break, right here on ESPN+.
Are you suffering from hip or knee pain? Don't let the pain hold you back. The region's most experienced robotic joint replacement team at Optum Health System offers an individually tailored approach that is more precise and creates smaller incisions. For you, that can mean a faster recovery with less pain. Your comeback starts here. Call today to find out if robotic-assisted joint replacement is right for you.
Hello, my name is Curtis Thorne and I'm a professional soccer player for Tormenta FC. Southern Downs offers me everything that I need for a fun, comfortable living environment. From the tennis court to the pool, the amenities at Southern Downs helps me relax after a long day at training. I'm happy to live in Statesboro and I highly recommend checking out Southern Downs.
I'm Michelle Smith-Lang from Kids World Learning Center here in Statesboro, Georgia. Let us take care of all of your childcare needs here at Kids World Learning Center, from your infants all the way to your after-schoolers. We also have a summer camp and holiday camp for those older children. And we have our brand new bus for our field trips, for the children to have fun and to learn and to explore new things all around our beautiful county. Thank you for trusting us with your most prized possessions.
Welcome to the Durance Lane halftime show. It's South Georgia Tormenta FC and Fort Lauderdale at halftime after 45 minutes. Well, there's only 2 more games left in Tormenta's season at home, the next of them being on September 11th against North Texas. A nice matchup for that one, to be quite frank, but it's going to be Hispanic Heritage Night in Statesboro. It should be a great one. The Georgia Southern University Latin Rhythm Dance Group will be performing at halftime. There'll also be a special presentation of the colors by the Georgia Southern ROTC, and the $2 beer roulette will be making a comeback that night. So punch in your tickets now. Pretty affordable. Should be a great match as always in Statesboro. So get to it. Let's take a look at what the league has kind of seen accomplished this year. If the first season was the inaugural year, last year overcome the hurdles of the pandemic, this year's been one of notching in some milestones, starting with this one. Curtis Thorne, early in the year, scored the 600th goal in League One history. And if you think this game happened a long time ago, might I stress once again, this one happened after the first time Fort Lauderdale and Tormenta met. So that's just how long ago their first matchup was when this milestone was reached. It had already happened at that point. Then fast forward a couple months, this one may be a little more bitter to Tormenta fans' memories. Emiliano Terzaghi, who just recently took the League One crown for most goals in the league with 22. Emiliano Terzaghi, that being one of them, just a fantastic goal scorer. But Tormenta's got a great goal scorer themselves in Marco Micheletto, currently running with Tormenta's league-leading or season-leading goals this year and in any single season in Tormenta's history. You can see he's a wily guy. I think wily's the best word to describe how Marco Micheletto plays. Just a slippery player that can slip by a defender, and teams all across the league have been punished for it in one way or another. But a team that's really thriving above everybody else in the league is the Chattanooga Red Wolves. 13 games unbeaten. They now stand alone in that streak in League One history. Last weekend, they were able to face off with Omaha in one of the most anticipated matches of the year, and Ricky Ruiz was able to score an early goal, to be quite frank, for Chattanooga standards. It was like the 81st minute, but it was as exciting as any of the other ones. They got the win there, and they broke Lansing Ignite's 12-game record. They tied it last weekend. They were able to break it yesterday against Toronto with 13, so they're on the right track. Meanwhile, Tormenta, they accomplished a first a couple weeks ago when they played Greenville. It was a fantastic one. Greenville took a 2-0 lead in that one, and no one from a 2-0 deficit in League One history has come back and won that game until that day in Greenville. And they didn't even make it easy either. The second goal came in the 48th minute, so they had to get all 3 of their goals in the second half of action. They did it, a 28-minute window, and it was 3 goals that were just typical of Tormenta. It was Stefan Muller coming from the left side, Marco Micheletto with the goal, and then, of course, the set piece from Luca Meyer-Feltian. So a lot of great stuff has happened this season in League One. And with that, we'll go to a break. When we come back, we'll have more halftime content coming for you right here on ESPN+.
First-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
City double their money, and how sweet the sound at Lynn Family Stadium.
at my age, where I'm at now, my children at their age, what I love about fishing now is the time that I get to spend with my children. It's just great to know that when I get into a Silverado, that I don't have to worry about, am I going to make it? Is it going to pull this? There's no doubt, there's no question in my mind. It's going to do everything I need to do. To go spend the quality time that I want to, enjoy that experience, because once it's gone, it's gone. What I love now is being able to watch my children enjoy something that I've loved doing all my life. And we can just enjoy each other. Kyle Durant Chevrolet provides us these experiences that we get to go on as a family.
Welcome back to the Durance Lane halftime show. 3-0 is the score right now with Fort Lauderdale in the lead against Tormenta. Let's take a look at the news and notes around the league. Starting off with, of course, it's August, which means Supporters Month is nearing its end, but you should check out the website and see what the league has to say about some of the best that the league has to offer as far as supporters are concerned. Richmond won last week, so read up and see what some of the best supporters in the USL have to offer. Meanwhile, records are being broken. We talked about them in the last halftime segment. Terzaghi now leads the league in all-time goals. Meanwhile, Chattanooga, who can beat him? Who can stop him? And then also, let's take a look at our player of the week and team of the week. Gio Calixto, I said it before, scored a goal or a hat trick in the team of the week, as we also look at what's going on around the league. North Carolina with a victory. Meanwhile, outside of that, though, it's zeros all around. So looks like we're hogging all the goals ourselves in today's matchup. But there's still some more fun games to go, especially tonight. Tucson and Greenville, two teams going in opposite directions. That one you really will have to check out. And then Richmond and Madison, always a fun rivalry there between the two of them. As we check out the standings, Fort Lauderdale were in 10th when we started this game, and now they're in 3rd. 25 points, sitting all at the top. If that doesn't go to show you how up and down these next few weeks and the rest of the season are going to be, I don't know what to tell you. Well, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll have the second half as well as highlights right here on ESPN+.
Why contact a marketing agency?
Is it to see this guy scribble on a whiteboard, or to listen to the ins and outs of marketing?
Or is it to partner with a group of creatives who will connect you to them and grow your brand?
Here, we join with you to push your business to new heights.
It's not about the us, but about the us, and how we can get your brand out there and connect and become their favorite.
We are the planners, doers, designers, and engagers who cut the crap and just make it happen.
We are Davis Creative Group.
Health System's commitment to you has not changed. Unmatched safety and compassionate care. Others may talk about the new normal, but at Optum Health System, we've always provided high-quality, personalized care safely. If you have recently delayed your care, we want to reassure you we are prepared to care for you. Our absolute commitment to safe, high-quality, personalized care is stronger than ever. We welcome you back to Optum Health System.
And we're back for the closing segment of the Durance Lane halftime show. Let's take a look at the first half highlights brought to you by Galactic Comics. Tormenta fans might want to avert your eyes. This is an all Fort Lauderdale affair, starting with Mitchell Curry getting things going early. That right-hand side of the pitch, he has had his way. Sergi News has struggled to close down on Curry, and they've been able to pounce on that space. But it wouldn't be the only hole that Fort Lauderdale would expose on that back line. There was a chance for two for Tormenta in the first opening moments of the game, the first 20 or so minutes, first 25 minutes before it got broken open by Fort Lauderdale. And here is that, and now I'm seeing the replay. That's just a well-timed ball. Mitchell Curry timed his run perfectly, and it was a great pass to him. Flag should not have gone up there. It didn't. And Fort Lauderdale, just clinical is the word I would use to describe their first two goals. Just wonderful passing, great heads-up plays. Edison Azcona there finds George Acosta, and he just puts it away. Nice and tidy finish from him. Gets himself a brace. It's also great awareness from Azcona. His head was down, but he just felt his man running beside him, laid him off, notched himself his first assist of the season. And this is a rare sighting in two regards. Pablo Jara unable to stop this heat of a shot from George Acosta, but also it's just an unassisted goal from Fort Lauderdale. Typically, you get a string of passes connecting those two together. As we take a look at the halftime stats brought to you by Your Pie. In the end, it's Fort Lauderdale's game. 13 shots, what else can you say? Doesn't really matter if they win the possession battle or not. 3 goals speaks for itself. Looks like we're going to get a substitution for Tormenta. Rodney Michael's going to come out of the game for Azad Liati. So Liati was out of the starting lineup to start today, which is an unusual occurrence. He's only not started 2 other games this season, but he will make his 21st appearance. Coming in for Michael, he's got 5 assists to his name, and they're going to need that inventiveness here in the second half. And we're seeing him make his way onto the pitch now. Liati, 23-year-old forward from Detroit. And we saw in the halftime show that 3 goals scored in the second half for Tormenta to make a great comeback in that game against Greenville. And they're going to need another 3-goal half performance in order to come back into this one. Do they have it in their pocket? That substitution brought to you by Powerade, of course. Liati in for Rodney Michael. They made history with that 2-0 comeback win. Now, 3-3 draws have occurred before, and those comebacks have happened. But they are few and far between. That's a nice little find for Liati. He slips, but it's picked up by Nicky Jackson. He'll lay it off for Summersall. Summersall's ball back in, and that one is headed away. Looks like Modesto Mendez. Tormenta on the right foot here after the whistle. Luca Meyer-Feltian, he'll be the one to take this corner kick. They had Stefan Muller take one in the first half, which was not usual. Typically it is Meyer-Feltian behind the ball. And he'll be there to retake his usual role on this Coca-Cola corner kick. Meyer-Feltian, his ball's not bad. It's headed back into play. It scuffles around a little bit. And maybe some hesitation could have been dangerous there from Poplawski, but not a Tormenta player on it, and so Callender can take that moment of hesitation and still handle it. 3 goals, though, from Fort Lauderdale in the first half, and can't complain about that. Coming into this week, I asked Darren Powell about that chemistry up top. Because let's face it, these strikers are all guys who are competing with each other, earn minutes, get some looks from Inter Miami, but they don't play like that. The chemistry up there has been astounding, and you could see it in that first half. And he says that that comes with some great training, and he credits Martin Patterson, one of his coaches, who works with the strikers. He said he does a really good job with not only them, but the younger boys who also practice with them. And he says that we train them as a team, and they take pride in helping the others score goals. And I'll tell you what, Martin Patterson, hands to you. Not just today. Great front attack from Fort Lauderdale all season, and it's been several pieces that have been rotated throughout. Mitch Curry being a usual suspect, but Hundal, Edison Azcona every now and then makes his appearances. Josh Penn, a couple. Benton Evans, just a lot of great strikers on this team, as a great striker for Tormenta takes the ball back, and he will draw the foul, and it will earn a booking for Modesto Mendez. It's going to be a free kick in a perfect spot for Luca Meyer-Feltian. Maybe a little close, but he has struck from these spots before. I'll take a look at that one again. Liotti just picking the pocket of Poplawski. And this gets checked by Mendez. His second yellow of the year. And Luca Meyer-Feltian, maybe the last person in the entire league I would want to see behind that ball right now. No one has been able to score from these spots like he has this year. 4 goals this season, including one last week, though that one was in the run of play. Let's see what he can do. Yellow card brought to you by Mose. That ball will hit the wall, but Feltian picks it up again. Tries a second go, pleads for a handball, won't get it. Liotti does well to shake off defenders there. Nicoletto's touch couldn't get past the second man. Some good passing from Tormenta here, though. Here's Summersall. Faced some tugs on his jersey. He's able to withstand it, though. Nicoletto looking for space. And that's well closed off by Poplawski, coming in with authority. There's a bit of a hesitancy with Fort Lauderdale right now, and Tormenta are tearing at everything they can. There are positives and negatives to that. Seeing one of the negatives right now, you can maybe bulldoze your way into a situation that's uncalled for. Mickey Jackson getting a talk to from our head official here today, Alyssa Nichols. Take a look at that one again. Just taking a couple swipes at Mendez. Very physical from the home side right now. Maybe trying to come in and knock Fort Lauderdale off their feet, both literally and figuratively. Trying to bring an edge to this game. They gotta change something. There's Darren Powell. Has to be happy after the first 45. But like I said earlier, can't get too comfortable. We're gonna get a foul in favor of Tormenta. This one on Azcona. One of the assisters here today. That second goal. Definitely impressive feat from him. And a good finish from Acosta. There hasn't ever been a hat trick in Fort Lauderdale history, but we will be on watch for the rest of this game for George Acosta, who's sitting on a brace. This ball sent forward for Hundal, but it can be picked up by Azcona. Well-timed slide, though, from Curtis Thorne. End-to-end stuff here in Statesboro. And there's an urgency to Tormenta's game right now. Muller's ball comes swinging in. It bounces, but Luca Meyer-Feltian's there. Luca Meyer-Feltian puts it to the top of the box, but there's nobody there. There is a sense of urgency in this Tormenta side. I think they can sense the importance of how they respond here in the second half for not only just this game, but for the rest of the season. To put into Darren Powell's words, everybody is still in this thing concerning the league race. He said everybody knows what's at stake, and there's a little more urgency with each week. And as we get closer and closer to that final week, games are going to continue to get more intense. Mabika slipping forward. Mabika still going. He takes a shot himself and can't get it past Hara. Rare sighting. Ame Mabika making a run forward. He'll have to track back now, but the 6'6" center back decided to maybe get his hand in some of the goal scoring they've found themselves in today. Wouldn't want to run into that guy with a full head of steam. Liati coming in with some energy here in the second half. Gives it to Jackson. He tries to lay it off, but that layoff is too weak. Had Micheletto there. Just didn't get the contact on the ball he was looking for. Curtis Thorne. Nice little ball to Luca Meyer-Feltian. He's got some room. He takes the shot, but that's a roller. I would have thought he would have put some air under that one, but didn't clip it quite right. Drake Callender's able to fall on it. Lots of promise. Take a look at Ame Mabika. They're just giving him the space, and he continued to take it. Here come Fort Lauderdale again. Hopeful ball from Neville. Gets headed into empty space. Now Gomez will send it forward. Looking for Micheletto. He'll get taken to the ground. Christian Liu Young. And a little handsy there and drawing some ire from Micheletto. Another set piece chance for Tormenta. I'll take a look at this one again. Definitely a scrappier game here in the second. Oh, that was a nasty collision between Liati and what looks like Rodriguez. It is. They just clunked into each other, both going for the ball. Liati slow to get up, but pretty much able to make it up himself. You see no one was truly hurt there. Take a look at it again. Looks like they avoided anything nasty. I was worried maybe they were had some head clunking there between two foreheads. That is never comfortable. Luca Meyer-Feltian quickly throws this one in. Liati could get a touch on it. He does, and it's cleared away. And it looks like that ball somehow didn't go out for a corner. It'll be another throw. See lots of people here for community night, community appreciation night, to be precise. At Dancing with the Statesboro Stars. Raising funds for Safe Haven, a local nonprofit. Here's Hundal. Pressing forward. Got a lot of Fort Lauderdale players running with him. Square to the top. Here's a shot deflected away by Rodriguez. Harvey Neville, the one who laced it. Doesn't have a goal yet this season. He does have a lot of players who know how to set up their teammates, though, so that could change any given day. We're gonna get a whistle from our official. Not allowing play to restart just yet. Here's Hundal. Tries to take a shot himself. Some great movement from Fort Lauderdale. Here's Azcona. Decides to go into the traffic and is unsuccessful. The ball's given right back, though. Here's Hundal. Player down. Play will go on, though. Hundal's shot just goes wide. And now we're going to get the whistle. And we're going to get a card. Azad Liati gets his 7th yellow of the season. Maybe it looks like a yellow for Rodriguez as well.
A yellow card has been shown to number 9 for Tormenta FC, Azad Liati.
There's Liati right there. He is coming with an energy here in the second half. In that case, maybe using his 6'1" frame a little bit too enthusiastically. Definitely been involved though since he's come in as a second half substitution. Here's Stefan Muller. Lou Young is on him like glue. Not the best pass there. It'll be given back to Fort Lauderdale. Curry gives it to Neville. Big tussle there that is going to go against Asad Liati. I'm not sure. Like it could have been a case where whoever lost the fight would be the one to draw the foul. Just two players tangling at it. But Alyssa Nichols right there in front of the play, so not the best assessment of the situation. Had a front row seat to it. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Well, if you're just joining us, 60 minutes in, 3 first-half goals from Fort Lauderdale. First, a well-timed pass as we get another yellow card here. The book is getting rather busy. Sean Hundal get his second yellow card of the season. But a wonderful pass to Mitchell Curry on the run, and then he squares it to Hundal. Poplawski now in the book now. Poplawski, yellow card number 9. That's gonna put him up top. Unfortunately, as far as yellow cards are concerned for an individual this season in League One. Actually, check that, it's not Poplawski, it's George Acosta, the goal scorer, with his 3rd yellow of the season. So still at 8 for Poplawski. Acosta, though, this yellow card brought to you by Moe's, also has 2 goals on the day. Tormenta faithful getting into it here. Gotta find their first goal here soon if they're gonna think about a comeback. Lukemeyer Feltian. He'll take it himself, and it just goes wide. That's from a long distance, but Lukemeyer Feltian does not care. He's got the range, and this one was just off the mark. Looked like Calendar would have been there for it either way. So we get 2 substitutions for Tormenta. First, Christo Strickler coming in for Nicky Jackson. And then Kobe Perez coming in for Ricardo Gomez. We'll see if these substitutions can bring the same kind of energy Liati has brought into the game for Tormenta. They're going to need it. Christo Strickler coming in earlier than usual, but they need the firepower. His 10th appearance of the year. These Southern Downs substitutions. Tormenta faithful are here earlier, just a moment ago. Last week they tried a $2 mystery beer, was very successful, and so they've been bringing it back now under the name of $2, or not $2, but just a beer roulette. It's a shame they didn't figure that out earlier, that was or just come up with that idea early in the season. They only got 2 more home games left. They'll have to make the most of it on September 11th and the last game in October. Oh, some tricky footwork from Azcona, slipping by Strickler. Azcona still going, takes a turn, and then his pass will get deflected. Some slippery work from the short striker. See Sergi News getting some touches on the ball here on the left side. Had the chance to play in the center last week. Marco Micheletto on the ball now, though. They'll give it back to Perez. Now Micheletto. Go to left side for Muller. Stefan Muller. Pops that one into the 18, but nothing to come from it. And there's Noose on the ball now. Going into last week, he and Cameron theorized that he would do better in the center, and I asked him, well, how did he do playing in the central center back position? And he said, did well. After a chat with him at halftime, he definitely improved in the second half. Micheletto is going to put this one in, and that one's going to sail over the crossbar. That energy that Tormenta came into the second half with is definitely fizzling out, and definitely can't have that. Still 25 minutes to go. We'll get 2 substitutions for Fort Lauderdale here soon. Braxton Nahib and Benton Evans making their way to our 4th official. Looks like we're going to get our substitutions right now. And we're not going to get a hat trick here today unless someone else comes in and scores several goals. But George Acosta's coming out for Braxton Nahib. So great performance from Acosta here today. Meanwhile, Sean Hundal, the other goal scorer, will come out for Benton Evans. So both the goal scorers for Fort Lauderdale making their way to the bench. Minutes well spent for them. Braxton Nahib will have to wait for the 4th official's signals on these Southern Downs substitutions. But Acosta will make his way out of the game for the 18-year-old. Coming from Draper, Utah, so there he is. Played a lot of minutes this season, though, for Fort Lauderdale, his 14th appearance on the year today. Valuable minutes, as always, though, for this young Fort Lauderdale side. It's going to be a Tormenta throw here. Maybe sort of the best of both worlds for Fort Lauderdale, because there was a point in the year where teams going up against Tormenta may not have been 100% certain on what to expect tactically from them. Here's the Meyer-Feltian's ball coming in. That one's chested away, and now Harvey Neville will make a run forward. Nice little chip to Evans. He's got a ton of space, and then the offside flag will go up. After he's done some jogging, get his legs into the game, Benton Evans. But Darren Powell said that they've kind of figured themselves out, Tormenta, and their formation. He said they've got a good formation and they execute it well. But with that being said, it means that we've got a good hand on how they're going to play. They know what to expect from Tormenta. And I guess on top of that, you do have some players missing now from the ideal Tormenta starting lineup. So you kind of know what to expect from them, and there are some key pieces missing that make things a little bit easier for Fort Lauderdale. A more prime opportunity for a game like this. Poked away by Harvey Neville there. comes in. Well played by Muller, but no one in the vicinity of his ball. Thorne rolls it. Liati gives it out. A couple of quick passes for Tormenta. Ray Callender will take his precious time, waiting for Liati to approach him to pick the ball up. Time is of the essence for Tormenta, but time is a best friend for Fort Lauderdale. They don't really have to worry too much about trying and scoring more goals. They've already got a 3-goal padded lead as it stands, courtesy of a wonderful first half performance. Here's Micheletto. Micheletto could take it himself off the crossbar. This ball's coming straight back down. Liati misses the follow-up. Liati! Oh, he misses the bicycle kick. Two attempts at the spectacular there. Micheletto with the shot. And then Liati going for the acrobatics. That could have really put your juice, or put some juice into the situation. Team Somersault on the ball now. Here's Thorne. Giving it to Luca Meyer-Feltien. He'll give it back to Thorne. A little step from him. Now he's got some space. Now Strickler. His ball swings in, and it's not on the mark. Goes well over the 18, and it's going to get hoofed away by Christine Liu Young. Let's take a look at this sequence again. Rattles the woodwork. And then Liati looks to create something amazing. Couldn't do anything with it. Here's Strickler. Somersault. He tries a little poke towards Liati, but not on the same page with them. The United Soccer League, all 31 championship clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. For more information on the USL's commitment to change through the United Against Racism campaign, visit uslsoccer.com. Flag does not go up. Here's a chance for Fort Lauderdale. And the flag stays down once again. And this time the substitute, Braxton Nahi, makes his way onto the pitch and makes his way onto the goal sheet for the first time this season. This Tormenta back line has been caught off guard several times. And this time it's a wonderful pass. I think that was Mitchell Curry. Well beyond the back line. Looked like it was the outside of his foot who made that pass. Braxton Nahi, 18 years old, his first goal this year. A big smile on his face. It's a 4-0 lead now for Fort Lauderdale. That might just be it for Tormenta, if it wasn't already, of course. Lost 4-0 last week to Tucson, Fort Lauderdale. 4-0. And now they have, in essence, turned it on its head. Talk about inconsistency. That's what the Fort Lauderdale season has been. Lots of ups and lots of downs. Great performances, bad ones. And Darren Powell has been trying to work on that consistency with this group here. And maybe would rather not see super highs and super lows, but I mean, if they can sustain this performance, I don't think there's anyone in the world who would complain. Just been a wonderful performance from Fort Lauderdale on the attack through and through. Bringing another substitution for the visitors here in a moment. Kobe Perez pokes it to Liati, Azad Liati. takes his precious time. Maybe took too much time. Micheletto will track this one down. This one out wide for Curtis Thorne. Thorne swings this one into the hands of Drake Callender. This is a way to galvanize a team trying to get into their final run of the season. Fort Lauderdale, I'm sure, will try and take this and harness it into a run of their own. Substitution might be here in just a moment. Abel Caputo is going to come into the game for Mitchell Curry. So Curry will make his way off of the pitch. And my eyes did not deceive me. He was the one who made that pass to Braxton Nahib. So 2 assists on the day. Only had 1 coming into the day. So much like George Acosta, maybe expanding on his role as a striker as we watch. And Abel Caputo come into the game, 20 years old, from Venezuela. Just an all-and-out great performance for the Herons. I remember talking to Darren Powell a couple weeks ago and lead up to another game, and he mentioned just how the strikers were gaining confidence from their play up top, and he was pleased with their progress. I think this is another step in the right direction for Fort Lauderdale in that regard, as Kona, slippery as always, gets himself all the way to the 18 after seeming entirely improbable. Moving forward, Tormenta will be going to New England to play Revs 2 next week. Just played them last weekend. They need to take a page out of what Fort Lauderdale did this week to find a response. Here's Strickler. This one tapped away by Mabika. He's done well for himself here today. We'll get another Coca-Cola corner kick. Luca Meyer-Feltian will be behind it. Meyer-Feltian, his ball swings in, and nothing to come of that one. This one will go straight into the arms of Drake Callender. Drake Callender looking for his 2nd clean sheet of the season. This is the 11th appearance of the year. Fort Lauderdale, fortunately, been a leaky side as far as goals allowed are concerned. And anytime you can notch in a clean sheet, it's great for confidence for not only your back line, but mainly for your keeper. Hasn't had to make too many serious saves, though, throughout this game. Like I said earlier, though, love to hear the band playing. Love music at sporting events. Of course, college football starting today. Sport notorious for its marching bands. Looks like we're going to get that substitution now. Raheem Summersault coming off for Vincenzo Candela. The Colombian-American will make his way onto the pitch for the 13th time this year. That's Southerndown's substitution. This 4-0 victory not only puts Fort Lauderdale up in 3rd place at this point in time, pending other results from these other games we've got going on here today, but in the active standings, currently in 3rd, but also this 4-point goal deficit puts them back at a nice 0 in the goal differential department after they went down 4 last week. This one, Benton Evans just lets it slip by him. Pablo Hara is able to fall on it, and Benton Evans maybe wanting that one back. Could have been 5 right there. It was an opportune moment. Well, if you ever wanted to discuss a game that you wanted to, how do you put it? If you ever wanted to have a game to come off of when going into a match against the #1 team at the top of the table, I think a 4-0 victory away would be what you would say, or something along those lines without getting too ludicrous. A win on the road, a nice confident victory over an opponent. I think that's just the kind of form you'd want. And that's what Fort Lauderdale have got here. They get to go home and host the Red Wolves next weekend. That could be a fun one. This one slips to Luca Meyer-Feltian. Luca Meyer-Feltian squares it to the middle. It's poked away. Maybe should have taken it himself there. He had the space. Trying to get some stretching from Modesto Mendez after he made the clearance. Would have been a tough angle to take that shot from, but a lot more traffic where he tried to put the ball. Mendez had himself a good game here today. He's taken a lot of good steps and done some good work at the center back position. Him along with Ame Mabika have kept Azad Liadi as well as Nikki Jackson in check throughout the duration of this game. Hopefully he's doing all right though. Players taking this chance to get some water. They've got Chattanooga up next. That'll be next Saturday at 7:30. Talk about a team with offensive firepower. That would be those two teams. Take a look at the upcoming schedule right here, actually. Got Tormenta again, and they might be thinking payback in that affair. We're gonna get this corner kick here. This corner kick swings in, and Luca Meyer-Feltian on it again. And this ball claps into the chest of Drake Callender. There he is, still looking for that clean sheet here today. Candela's ball, Azad Liadi! And that's a response from Tormenta. May not make a difference in this one, but that can be a boost of confidence moving forward. There will be no clean sheet today, and Liadi walking calmly back to the line. His second goal of the season. It's a wonderful goal at that. Great ball from Candela. And Liati gets the job done. It's the first assist of the year for Vincenzo Candela. Got some smoke here at Irk Russell Park, something to be excited about. It looks like Candela, just after notching that wonderful assist, is also going to go in the books, his 6th yellow card of the year. Looking to end on a high note here, Tormenta. Obviously won't change the 0 points from this match. Here's Venton Evans. See right there, Liati. 2nd goal of the year. I'm gonna say that one was not kept in play. It'll be a Tormenta throw. For the W, starting next spring, the USLW League, providing increased equity and opportunity for women looking to pursue careers in soccer both on and off the pitch. Comprised of clubs from across the Championship, League One, League Two, and new expansion markets, the W League is set to begin play in more than 30 communities across the United States. Head over to USLWleague.com to learn more. Here's Evans. Gets that ball poked away, but doesn't actually roll out. Evans is not too keen on moving it forward, though. There's not really any need to. As time winds down here. But yeah, Fort Lauderdale and Chattanooga, the 2 top goal-scoring teams in the league at this very moment. 29 goals for Fort Lauderdale and 28 for Chattanooga. North Texas is playing right now, though, and they're just behind, and maybe could notch in a goal or two. Meanwhile, on the Tormenta side, like I said earlier, have to go to New England and play Revs 2 again. And they'll be back home at Irk Russell Park to play North Texas. They don't have a ton of games left, only 2 more home games. Still 0-0 in Omaha between Union Omaha and North Texas. Of course, 0-0 earlier today between Richmond and North Carolina. It was 0-0 yesterday. Not quite 0-0 here. This one nearly connects with Liati. Maybe looking for a late game brace. I encourage you, though, tonight, 10 o'clock, FC Tucson plays the Greenville Triumph. Very interesting game narrative-wise. Tucson, of course, coming off that 4-0 victory over Fort Lauderdale. They're looking to push themselves back into the thick of the playoff race. Getting several whistles from Alyssa Nichols, our head official. Looks like we're going to get another substitution for Fort Lauderdale. Looks like 16-year-old Drew Harden's going to make his 8th appearance of the year, coming in for Edison Azcona. The substitution brought to you by Southern Downs. Drew Harden, one of the 2 Harden brothers. His brother Ethan, also on the bench today. Made a couple more appearances than Drew, though. He's going to get some game minutes for Drew here. This one put back into play. Like I was saying, though, Tucson coming off a 4-0 win over Fort Lauderdale. Meanwhile, the Greenville Triumph on a terrible losing streak. The reigning champs on the downward spiral. So their paths cross, and will forms for both sides be cut, or will Tucson find another win? This one slips in for Liati. The flag stays down. Azad Liati gets a late game brace. What was once a 4-0 lead is now 4-2 for Fort Lauderdale, but Tormenta do get 2 late game goals. Azad Liati now has 3 on the season. A brace for Azad Liati. Luca Meyer-Feltian, good ball from him. Looks like it came off the knee of Azad Liati. Only just business there for the striker. Last played with FC Tucson. Now here's Strickler. Here in via media stoppage time. It's gonna be a corner kick for Tormenta. Meyer-Feltian in the smoke. Sends this one inside, it's headed away. See Alyssa Nichols checking her watch. 6 goals in this game, including 2 late goals from Azad Liati, one in the 83rd minute, one in the 90th. It's actually the 91st minute, when all is said and done. Here's Venton Evans. He'll roll one towards Pablo Jara. Under a minute to go here. Long ball from Marco Micheletto. Going to be a corner kick, much to the distaste of Noah Allen. Luca Meyer-Feltian, other Coca-Cola corner kick. Sends this one in, headed away. Take 2. Iliadi off the post and is poked away. Oh my goodness, and there's the final whistle. Liati nearly had a hat trick. But at the end of the day, it's 3 first-half goals from Fort Lauderdale. A dominant first 45 propels them to victory here. A 4-2 win for the visitors. And a wonderful response after their loss against Tucson last weekend. A lot of positives to take away. Let's take a look at our man of the match, brought to you by Galactic Comics. It is Azad Liadi. Nearly had a hat trick. And good performance. Came in the second half and brought an energy to this Tormenta attack. Now we're going to take a look at our play of the match here. And this one brought to you by Bullock Solutions. It's a wonderful ball from Vincenzo Candela and Azad Liadi with a nice, tidy finish. Now let's take a look at the Mexicali save of the match here. Luca Meyer-Feltian gives it out to Curtis Thorne. This one. After it's a 4-2 affair here. Getting some encouragement from Pablo Jara. Maybe some promising signs of resilience at the end for Tormenta to not just go down quiet. But with that, we'll have the full-time highlights and staffs after this break on ESPN+. Do not change the channel just yet. We have closing thoughts coming up next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Smith-Lang from Kids World Learning Center here in Statesboro, Georgia. Let us take care of all of your child care needs here at Kids World Learning Center, from your infants all the way to your after-schoolers. We also have a summer camp and holiday camp for those older children. And we have our brand new bus for our field trips, for the children to have fun and to learn and to explore new things all around our beautiful county. Thank you for trusting us with your most prized possessions.
Are you suffering from hip or knee pain? Don't let the pain hold you back. The region's most experienced robotic joint replacement team at Optum Health System offers an individually tailored approach that is more precise and creates smaller incisions. For you, that can mean a faster recovery with less pain. Your comeback starts here. Call today to find out if robotic-assisted joint replacement is right for you.
And we're back for the Via Media postgame show. Let's take a look at our Galactic Comic highlights here. 6 goals in this one. And a weekend where it seems like goals are hard to find everywhere else. We have them in aplenty here. Starting with a wonderful pass to Mitchell Curry. And then he does the right thing when Pablo Jara is in his face. Sean Hundal takes that ball for a stroll across the goal line for a goal. Then Edison Azcona. Maybe a little bit tougher of a finish here from George Acosta. Needless to say, though, still 2-0. Some good vision from Azcona, who proved to be just a slippery guy today, slipping around that Tormenta back line. Then Acosta decided to take it up a notch, put some heat behind the ball, and Pablo Jara was unable to scoop that one away. Maybe took a little weird bounce right before it got to him, just to catch him off guard. And then the second half, look at that pass from Mitchell Curry. Fantastic stuff from him. And then the heave. I mean, what else do you need from a finish like that? And that's a midfielder. That's not even one of the strikers. Fort Lauderdale's just full of guys who just know how to bag goals. And then here's a nice ball from Vincenzo Candela, put away by Azad Liadi. The first of 2 in the late game. Candela came in as a sub, gets his first assist of the season. And Azad Liadi, nice little poke away. And then the last goal of the day. Luca Meyer-Feltian almost looks like a carbon copy of the previous goal. Swings in, Liadi's there. Maybe something for Fort Lauderdale to work off in practice this week as we take a look at your EuroPie full-time stats. You don't need to win possession if you're able to score 4 goals. Fort Lauderdale were able to get that done, and although Tormenta caught up in the shots department, It wasn't enough, even with some late game goals from them. In the end, Fort Lauderdale, the worthy winners of this game after a great first half. Well, after 25 minutes, the floodgates opened for Fort Lauderdale, and they were able to get the job done. Darren Powell's group will think about hosting the Chattanooga Red Wolves next week. Meanwhile, a trip to New England's up next for Tormenta. For our broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schoenster saying thank you for watching this broadcast on ESPN+. Check out Tucson and Greenville tonight. It should be a good one right here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.